not over. The dawn's not that far away. Hop back on the saddle soon, you soulless soldier. The dark can consume your brain. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe, but all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm fatal. Heed the words I say to you before I will fade away. I need to know what you can do. Show them the only way. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe, but all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm fatal.
STN Racing welcomes you to virtual Dover International Speedway for round 9 of the Highline Racing League HighPoint.com Premier Series. The wheel landed on Dover. Apparently the wheel doesn't like us. Nonetheless, Jacob Hitz, Joey Tevin with you for the call. Zach Johnson and his spotty, inconsistent, poverty Xfinity internet will bring this to you, hopefully, without interruption throughout the night. Let's talk about points, because we haven't talked about it a lot, and after tonight, there are only 2 races left. It's a relatively close battle up there.
It's an extremely close battle up there, and we talked about it last week because they were so close to each other on track the whole time. It's Scott Wheeler Jr. and Alan Kunman. They've both won 2 races apiece, and they're both 9 points apart from each other with only 3 races to go. Malarkey's in third. He's been pretty consistent, but he hasn't been able to bring a win together. He's 30 points back. Kendall Kerr, Caleb Morrissey also have had speed, but just haven't had the consistency that those top 2 have. So they're 40 and 45 points back, respectively. And everybody else is in and around there. There could be a battle for third, a battle for fourth, but the battle for first is pretty much going to be between Scott Wheeler Jr. and Alan Kunman.
And really, that's the one we all care about since it is up at the front of the field. And it is what's going to determine who walks away with the championship at the end of the season. An 11-race season. We don't know where we're going the next 2 weeks. Hopefully, good racetracks. But I mean, Dover is okay. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's awful. It might be better than the current Cup cars here. You're not going to see a ton of passing, though.
Well, Dover, of course, in the news today after getting purchased by SMI, I believe. So at least it's topical.
All right, let's go through our grid for tonight's race. Brad Kress in the 29 will start on the pole position. Alan Kunman, one of the championship contenders, starts on the outside in second. Row number 2 has James Mckee, who won the season opener back at Las Vegas. Scott Zellner lines up to the outside. He won last week at Indianapolis. Adam Bossy, Kendall Kerr make up row number 3. Tyler Snyder, Caleb Morrissey make up row 4. Dylan Poteet, Scott Wheeler Jr. round out the top 10.
Then on row number 6 and 11th, it's the mean machine of Patty Green alongside the renumbered Jeff Morash in the 88 this week for one reason or another. Then Trevor Hook, Andrew Siegel, Cody Robinson, Scott McCarris, Chance Duckworth, and Dylan Wedgwood will start shotgun on the field as they get up onto this concrete banking.
They'll do one lap. The pace car will come onto pit road. We'll drop the green flag and see how far we will go here from Dover. And we only have 2 races left after tonight here, too. So it's getting down to the end of this deal. These drivers are running out of time. So pace car brings it through 3 and 4. You saw the weather there on your screen for a moment. Brad Kress taking the outside line here for the restart. Alan Kunman will be downstairs as the field comes through 3 and 4. Pace cars on pit road. Glad you're watching. Let's get through this. 133 laps up on the big board. Let's go. Green flag from Dover. One lap complete. Brad Kress leads the way. He's got Alan Kunman right behind him. Kunman did not get a good restart from down low on the front straightaway, but he's been able to rebuild it on that first lap. Scott Zellner took away that 3rd spot. That's where he is now.
Nobody really got a good start on the start there. It was bizarre. The green flag came out, and Brad Kress just didn't go for about 2 seconds. Then he finally did, and he left everybody in the dust. Normally, Alan Kunman's the one who does that, but he was in second, but clearly doesn't matter because here he comes down to the bottom. Is the bottom going to be the place where you want to be tonight? Apparently the answer is yes, at least for now.
Alan Kunman, who at this point is the points leader, takes over the race lead. The guy he's battling, Scott Wheeler Jr., he's back in P8. Scott Zellner takes over second. Here comes James Mckee looking to the inside of Brad Kress for the 3rd spot. Won't be able to do it there.
Mckee, one of our winners from this season. Zellner, of course, won last week. And Brad Kress just kind of in a sandwich here. He hasn't won yet. He had that short run speed. He had that single lap speed in qualifying clearly. But unfortunately, after that incredible launch, looks like Brad Kress has fallen back through the field in that Coors Light number 29. James Mckee gets down to the bottom. Kress runs about 15 lanes too high, and easy as can be, James Mckee.
So he takes over the spot, and we'll see what he can do. As they're not really getting all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack, they're kind of running maybe half a lane up from the bottom groove, but you don't often see a lot of side-by-side racing here, and there's good reason for that. This is really a one-groove racetrack.
Well, that's going to be an interesting dynamic as we go through this race. There is going to be quite a bit of tire wear, as usually is the case at Dover with this concrete surface. So there's some drivers that we know how to take care of their stuff over the course of a long run. Scott Wheeler Jr. is one of them, even though he's deep in the field. Alan Kunman is another one, which is unfortunate for everybody else in the field as he's already P1. But as we get later into the night here, it looks like with everybody spaced out, we might get a long green flag run here. We might run into green flag pit stops. So tire strategy doesn't always play a role in races like this, but it could tonight.
I think tires are definitely going to be a focus for tonight's race. I would not expect a lot of cautions. You only have 18 drivers in the field, and yeah, passing's difficult, so things are going to get aggressive later on in the race. But for now, I think you're going to have to save your tires because you're not going very far here with the caution. You're probably going to have green flag pit stops tonight.
Well, somebody who's on the move, Caleb Morrissey, already from 8th to 5th. Caleb seems like he's got a new lease on life these past few races. He was decent in the first part of the season, but he wasn't always up front. But lately, he finished 2nd at Milwaukee. He was in the fight for the win in Indianapolis, and now he's up here in the top 5 again. So I don't know what Caleb has done to switch this season on, but whatever he's done, it's been very successful because he's had some incredible pace over these past couple tracks.
Yeah, it was a tough break last week for Mckee and for Morrissey, since that's at least who you were talking about. Mckee was also there in that battle, but Morrissey just couldn't get the job done. Scott Zellner wound up winning the race. We'll see what he can do tonight. He sits P5 right now, and he was faster that last time by than Alan Kunman, but everybody behind Kunman was faster than Alan Kunman. All the way back to Adam Bossi, who's in 7th.
Yeah, that might just go to show how good Alan Kunman is at saving his stuff. Zellner's getting aggressive behind him, and he had a big wiggle in 3 and 4 there that absolutely murdered his momentum. And there goes James Mckee. He's going to take advantage of that and swoop down to the bottom, but he's not going to be clear on exit. Zellner's still there. Barely. He's got like a nose alongside, and into 3 and 4. James Mckee easily clears him.
Got one on pit road. It's Scott McCarris. Not sure what happened to him, but he's on pit road right now.
He got into the wall a couple laps ago. I didn't mention it, but I believe he and Morash or Robinson or one of those guys out back, they made contact coming down the front straight. McCarris went sideways into the wall, so he's probably coming down pit road to get that. Nope, he's coming down pit road to quit out of the race.
Morrissey almost took out Brad Kress and his entire family and almost the whole field. That got very, very close as they're battling for P4. Morris is going to take the spot. Kendall Kerr diving underneath Kress as well, trying to take over now the 5th spot.
Yeah, Kerr's probably going to make easy work of this down to the inside. He's not going to be clear just yet, though. Same thing. There's extremely close quarters on the exit of these corners. Brad Kress not wanting to give up that position, but it's a foregone conclusion here. On the top, you're probably not going to hang on unless Kendall Kerr does something really stupid down in the bottom. And Adam Bossi, he's got to make sure he doesn't get impatient here. He's probably going to find a way through, but he's either got to follow Kress or Kerr, and he's not following either of them. He's going to have to slot in line behind Kress while Kerr makes the pass.
He's going to try and go under Kress here, going into turn 1. Let's see what he can do. Slides it up the racetrack. He'll take the spot. Here comes Scott Wheeler Jr. in that Kurt Busch machine. He's looking to the inside while James Mckee has caught the race leader. Overdrove turn 3 a little bit. That's going to allow Zellner to close back in. Got a good battle all over the racetrack. Top 3 all over each other here under a blanket as they head to 1.
And you were saying this place wasn't good for passing. This has been high-quality entertainment. It's only been 17 laps, but, you know, so far they've put on a show for us. I think as the tires go off, I do wonder, have Brad Kress's tires already gone off, or is he doing this deliberately to fall through the field? Either way, he's either going to be passed or passing in the near future, and it looks like James Mckee is going to be doing the passing here down to the bottom.
And Kunman slides up. Tries to fight back on the outside. Saw a little wiggle out of that 8 car. Mckee almost clear. Now he is clear. Here comes Zellner. He's going to look for second. He's got it. New leader James Mckee, but Zellner, he's going to try and go all the way.
Kunman got so high out of the groove there. I think he was in New Jersey. I don't know if that was deliberate to try and get a diamond off the corner, but I think he went about 4 lanes too high and just killed his momentum and allowed Mckee to get through, and that opened the door for Zellner. So now he's got to be careful here. He's got a hungry Caleb Morrissey behind him. He can't be making mistakes like that. It's already lost him the lead, and it can very easily lose him that 4th place, and then Kendall Kerr's not too far behind either.
19 laps are complete. James Mckee is now your race leader. Then it's Zellner, Kunman, Morrissey, Kerr, the top 5, Bossy, Green, Scott Wheeler Jr., Poteet, Snyder, the top 10.
The night has gone from bad to worse for Brad Kress. He was falling through the field after starting on pole, and unfortunately the old internet, he was the first casualty of the internet tonight, not Zach Johnson. So bad news for Brad Kress. He probably has Xfinity, and maybe he'll log back in to get a couple more laps on the board, but something tells me we won't be seeing much more of him tonight.
Heartbreak for Kress. He's back in, so that was quick, but remember, he started on pole. And it really went from bad to worse in a heartbeat for him. He's going to need a couple cautions to get back on the lead lap. He's already 3 laps down at this point. Scott McCarris picked up his participation medal and went home. He's out of the race in the 18th spot. Everybody else still on the racetrack. 16 cars on the lead lap, and on the racetrack is Brad Kress. We wait for him to come back onto the speedway.
Battle for P8. Dylan Poteet down the inside of Scott Wheeler Jr. washes up the track. He had the inside there, and he might have had the move made, but he just washed up and killed all of his momentum. Could not make the move on Wheeler, and now he's got Tyler Snyder all over the back of him, running a higher line, doing a little bit of a road course crossover there, and it is going to work. Wheeler makes a massive mistake. Poteet's going to go to the outside. Oh my God, he was just barely clear.
And I got close. Awfully aggressive back there. They're good for now, though, especially with championship contenders. That's awfully scary. Here comes Tyler Snyder, who got in a little bit of trouble after Indianapolis. Not as much trouble as Matt Owens. He got sent home for good. Yeah, we didn't even really see it on the broadcast. But, yeah.
We can see Tyler Snyder making the move on Scott Wheeler Jr. Wheeler is back where he started now. He started 10th. He is 10th. Something about him in Dover isn't clicking, unfortunately, and that's not good news. I think in total, he'll probably still be the championship leader if the race finishes like it is right now. He'll have a 2-point lead because he's 7 positions behind Kunman. But right now, things are not looking good for the championship leader.
Jeff Morash is on pit road, the 15. As Scott Zellner still trying to work on Mckee here for the race lead. As Brad Kress, who is back to life, he just set the fastest lap of the race. Nice.
And Kress is only 4 laps down, so I'm glad he chose to rejoin the race, because if by some miracle we do get 4 cautions, he could very well get 4 lucky dogs and be back on the lead lap and maybe be fighting for the win, because we know he has short run speed. So that's why you rejoin in situations like this. That's why you keep on trucking. So good on Brad Kress. And just an update on Jeff Morash, who we saw. He hit the outside wall in turn 4, just drove it up there, slammed the right side into the wall, and he is in the pits getting that car hammered out.
Here's a battle. You see Wheeler, I mean, he is still falling back. He's back in 10th, which is where he started this race. He got passed by Poteet and Tyler Snyder. They're starting to battle right in front of him.
And a pass for the lead. Zellner down onto the apron. He put two wheels down on the flat part of the track, and that did not allow him to get a run to the inside. He had the move made if he didn't make that mistake, but that's the danger of going down that low. He almost does it again. He clearly has the speed here, but he's got to keep it in the confines of the track as Alan Kunman almost leaves the confines of the track behind him. Zellner all over the back of Mckee here. Last lap for him was 0.06 of a second faster, but he's got to find a way by. Being faster isn't enough.
How about the battle for 4th place between Kendall Kerr, Caleb Morrissey? Kerr trying to hold on to the spot and put some distance, maybe try and chase down this top 3. Got awfully close to the wall there off turn 4. That's going to allow Morrissey to hang in close with him.
Extremely close through the first 2 corners, and there's the crossover from Morrissey, but he doesn't get the run. He finds Kendall Kerr's rear bumper right in front of him on exit, but now he gets down to the bottom. He's going to slide up a little bit. Kerr doesn't leave him much room, but Morrissey is clear through turn 4. Caleb Morrissey, 8th to 4th. Now the question is, does the 6 car have enough tire under it to chase down those 3 up ahead?
We'll have to find out as we're 102 laps away from the finish. James Mckee continues to lead the way. Scott Zellner has been applying some pressure to him, but really this top 3 is just kind of riding around single file. They haven't been too aggressive since Mckee's gotten the lead.
Well, I'd say Zellner got pretty aggressive when he almost went down to the apron to make the move. Here's Tyler Snyder sliding up in front of Adam Bossy. He had the move made, and then he just overcooked it, but on exit, good exit from Tyler Snyder. He is clear from Bossy despite that mistake. Oh, but running high like that is going to be an easy way to lose that position. No, he holds on to it. I do wonder, is the high line kind of rubbering in here? Is it going to work as these tires age and you can't run that lower line for much longer? Tyler Snyder seems to be the first one who's trying it, but throughout the rest of the field, it seems like everybody else is still running that just about half to 1 groove up.
Here you see Tyler Snyder hold on to that 7th spot right now. Getting by Adam Bossy. He's closing in on Patrick Green now. That's the next car he has to pass. Things have settled down really across the board. Everybody has spread out. And this is the Dover I'm used to.
Gap between the front 2, it was 0.3, it's now 0.4, so Zellner falling back, Kunman also falling back. Like you said, it is kind of spreading out, but we're on lap 36. We're a quarter of the way through the race. The question now is, how long do these drivers go before they need to pit? Can they go all the way to halfway on 1 tank of fuel here? 72 laps. That's 23-second laps, 72 of them. I don't know how many minutes that is, but I don't know if those fuel tanks can go all the way to halfway.
We'll see how far they can go. As, yeah. Kunman trying to reel in. Here's a battle. Kerr and Patrick Green, who almost sent it down to the infield there, trying to avoid him into 1.
Patrick Green coming out of nowhere. He started 11th. Was kind of anonymous for the first half of this race, first quarter of this race, but now he's turned it up. He's another driver who's pretty good on a long run. He's good at saving his stuff. Tyler Snyder, don't dump Kendall Kerr there. That'll kill Patrick Green's long run. But old Pat Green does make it up to P5, and Caleb Morrissey's all over the track up ahead. So it might be the 2-for-2 special for Patrick Green at Dover. Caleb Morrissey's all over the place, going about 50 miles per hour. He's about the speed of the horses that ride on the gravel track on the inside. And here's Brad Kress. He rejoined after that internet problem. Did he hit the wall again?
Well, oh, with our championship leader, that was close. Caution's out. Scott Wheeler front straightaway. It was Wheeler that made the contact with Brad Kress a lap ago that sent him to pit road, and now Wheeler in more trouble, and that thing just looks undrivable. Wheeler lost it coming up off of 4, pushed Kress wide into the outside wall, and on the replay, it looks like he just ran out of room and ran into Chance Duckworth, who's going to run into the wall right here. There's the replay. Nowhere for Wheeler to go. Championship implications.
I'd like to see the replay of the accident with Brad Kress as well, because I don't think Wheeler and Kress made contact. I think Kress was trying to get out of the way. Yeah, there was no contact there. Kress was just trying to leave him room, and unfortunately the room was where the wall is on the outside, so there was no contact there. But unfortunate for Brad Kress, and then even more unfortunate for Scott Wheeler Jr. a couple laps later.
Here's the replay with Kress. Again, yeah, no contact. Just pushed Kress up into the wall. Great save by Wheeler. And then there you see the 28 who moved him up the racetrack. And then you'll see the final
moved him
result
up the
right
racetrack
here.
and then drove into him.
Yeah, Duckworth just overdrove the corner, hit the wall, and then nowhere for Wheeler to go. So.
Well, I say there was plenty of space for Wheeler to go on the inside there. I think Wheeler just underestimated his exit speed there and drove into the side of Duckworth. I think if he was a little bit more conservative there.
You don't expect a car to stop on the corner exit like that. I don't think Wheeler really had a choice. But nonetheless, Brad Kress parked the car, done for the night. So already we're down 3 cars. 15 cars are left, all of them on the lead lap. Wheeler, Siegel, and Duckworth are getting damage repaired. Everybody else, 4 tires and fuel, back onto the racetrack. James Mckee, still your leader. Then Scott Zellner, Alan Kunman, Caleb Morrissey, Patrick Green, Kendall Kerr, Tyler Snyder, Adam Bossy, Dylan Poteet, Trevor Hook. The top 10. We'll go side by side here from Dover. We will come back for the restart here on the Highline Racing League, highpoint.com Premier Series from Dover. We're back after this.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, we're half a lap from Green Flag Racing here from Dover. Wrapping up our first caution flag of the night. James Mckee, your race leader, with 43 laps complete. Inside 100 laps to go here on STN. All right, pace car comes onto pit road. James Mckee on the inside, Scott Zellner on the outside. That inside line did not have a great launch on the first start. We'll see what happens here on the restart. Green flag, much better.
Yeah, far more normal start from James Mckee on pole. He didn't wait for an extended period of time before going. Just got going, got a good launch, got a little bit of distance between him and Kunman, but this is a great turn 1 and 2 from the number 8, and it's a wiggle from Mckee. Is Kunman going to get aggressive early here? No, he's going to wait his turn and probably go for it next time into turn 1.
If Kunman's smart, he lays off. Remember, the guy he's fighting for a championship for just crashed. So he has got a cushion right now since Wheeler is back in 13th. If you're Kunman, just keep the darn thing clean. You're in second as Mckee wiggles a little bit off turn 2. Here comes Kunman. Trouble in the back. Siegel is around. Bounces it off the inside wall. Meanwhile, Kunman is clear for the lead. Here comes Zellner down low for a second. He's going to get it. Mckee going to try and chop off Patrick Green. That won't work. The 87's on the inside.
Mckee falling like a rock, just like Brad Kress did once he got shuffled to that outside early on. The bottom is really where you want to be here. He's going to hang tough around the outside of Patrick Green here. But no, through 3 and 4, Kendall Kerr is going to be the next one. And if Adam Bossy was smart, he would have picked the bottom there. He's going to go for a crossover. Kendall Kerr almost loses it on the nose of Mckee. There's cars all over the place, and we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1.
Bossy thought better of it. Don't be too aggressive now. As Mckee trying to hold on the high side. Bossy pulls in down low. He's going to try and get by Mckee into turn 3, and he'll get there. Mckee gets in line behind him.
Mckee goes for a little bit of a crossover down the front straight. He's got a nose in there. Does Bossy know? Yes, he does. Mckee down to the white line, and he's going to get by Adam Bossy as soon as it was the other way around. Now Tyler Snyder is going to get to the bottom of Adam Bossy down the back straight. It's just constant shuffling of positions here. Once you get the bottom early on, you are moving your way forward, and if you're on top, you're getting shuffled back. Trevor Hook and Dylan Wedgwood as well started shotgun on the field. He's up 9 spots already, moving his way up.
Oh, man. Poteet went down to visit the inside safer barrier. That was close. He's going to lose a couple spots out of it, but at least he's still alive. Side by side with Dylan Wedgwood. That's for P10. They're going to hit each other. They're into the wall. Poteet's going to lose everything. He falls to 14th. And Wedgwood is stuck up on the high side. Meanwhile, we've got a battle. Yes, for the lead. Scott Zellner is your race leader.
Zellner made the pass quite easily there, but Kunman is still there. He's going to go for the reverse move here, but he's not able to do it in turn 1 and 2. Thinking back to last week, Scott Zellner had that short run pace, didn't have the long run pace. So while he has taken the lead right now, I do worry for him with Alan Kunman behind him in the coming laps. Maybe 10, 15 laps from now, that Kunman will be right back on the back of him. He might be falling back just a little bit right now. Everybody else is kind of 1.5 seconds back. You don't need to worry about them, but he's going to be worrying about Kunman very soon.
James Mckee and Kendall Kerr battling. That is for position number 4. So Mckee rebounding pretty nicely.
Well, rebounding pretty nicely, I would not describe this, as he's lost about 6 spots since the restart, but he does get down to the inside of Kendall Kerr now. Is he going to be clear in the middle of the corner? Yes, he is. He's going to drive by him. Eased. He does it. Kendall Kerr's going to fall back, understandably. Probably didn't defend that one as much as he could have, as Scott Wheeler Jr. in the back. You saw him almost getting into the outside wall again. We thought he might be out of it. Kunman hopes he's out of it, but he definitely isn't. He might have a damaged car, but he's in P9, which is better than where he started still.
.55 laps complete this time by, as the field brings it through 3 and 4. Kunman has not let Zellner out of his grasp, but still 0.3 of a second there, as Mckee has gotten by Kerr. And sits in that P4 spot now, trying to chase down Patrick Green. Battle for 7th. Adam Bossy, Trevor Hook. Trouble, that's Duckworth in the inside wall. Both sides of that race car all torn up. He's down by the inside wall and on the apron. So I don't think iRacing is going to throw a caution. He parks it in the grass. And we'll tow it back to the pits. We stay green. Yeah.
Looking back at what happened to Duckworth, just typical on exit, just lost it, sent it into the outside wall, and then sent it into the inside wall. If we can get a replay, we'll take a look at it, but it was pretty usual stuff for Dover, just getting loose on exit, and there it is, because the walls are so close. You make one mistake, you make one bobble, and then bang, there's a wall, and then bang, there's another wall, and then your day might as well be over. Good on Chance for keeping it out of the way. He kept it all the way down there. Honestly, probably to make sure that a caution didn't come out, so good on Chance Duckworth, but it's a bad day for that day to end for 28.
And what the heck happened to Adam Bossy? He just lost a couple spots. He's now P9, about to be P10 as here comes Caleb Morrissey around the outside. Bossy was battling with Hook for that 7th spot.
So that promotes Scott Wheeler Jr. up to 8th. He's moving his way up in the world. And here's James Mckee. He's not going anywhere. He's stuck to the back of the 87 of Patrick Green here. On exit, he finds the rear bumper of the 87, kills his momentum, but doesn't kill enough for Green as he sends it in there. Clear by about 5 car lengths. James Mckee up to 3rd. Now the question is, does he have the pace to chase down those 2 leaders?
5 car lengths? You think that's 5 car lengths?
Maybe smart cars.
I'm not even sure smart cars. I would go maybe 1.5, 2 as whoa, Mckee. I don't know if you saw that on the broadcast, but Mckee almost D-died there off the corner. He certainly D'd and died. He didn't quite do it. I mean, that thing was just wicked loose on him.
But it's wicked fast, too, because that last lap was a 10th faster than those 2 up front with 1.4 seconds between him and that lead battle. Mckee might be a part of that very soon. He might be using up his stuff sliding all over the place, but it certainly is fast. Again, faster minimally by about half a tenth that time, but faster is faster, and he's making some progress.
Tyler Snyder, Trevor Hook in a battle for 6th spot. Here they are through 3 and 4. Kind of running the middle line, not really choosing to run the bottom.
Yeah, Snyder's been the one doing that for the majority of this race, and now Hook's taking it from him. Snyder runs a little bit higher than normal, but, you know, he's in the range, but Trevor Hook runs about 2 lanes higher, and that did not work for him at all. We're only 22 laps into this run. Clearly the tire's not old enough to make that a viable strategy. He's trying to chase down Snyder, but it doesn't look like he really has the pace as he gets super loose on exit, keeps it under control, and as I say, he doesn't have the pace. He closes right back up to the back of Snyder, and he's going to pull a crossover on him here down the back straight, and unfortunately, it looks like we just lost Adam Bossy, but that doesn't matter because Trevor Hook's going to get to the inside of Snyder here. Snyder's almost going to hit the outside wall, and Hook is going to be easily up into 6th.
So Hook takes the spot. You got a battle for 11th as well. Cody Robinson, Dylan Wedgwood side by side. Robinson going to take that spot. As things have settled down pretty much all the way around the racetrack again, Kunman fell off big time. He's now 6 tenths back on Zellner. They got to go another 9 tenths back to Mckee.
But 9 tenths is a heck of a lot less than that was before. Honestly, if Zellner can keep this pace up, it might be a battle for second here. If he can hold Kunman off, Mckee definitely has the pace on Kunman, but does Mckee have the pace on Zellner? It doesn't actually look like it, so it might be a fight for second here at the moment. There's still half the race to go, so it could be a fight for anything, but at the moment, Mckee's probably got his sights set on second.
We are past the halfway point. Here at Dover, Scott Zellner is your race leader. Alan Kunman reeling him back in, though. 2 tenths faster that last time by. 4 leaders, 4 lead changes, only 1 caution. That came when championship leader Scott Wheeler spun it around. And man, if Alan Kunman wins this race, Kunman will retake the championship lead, and Wheeler's going to have a big hole to dig out of the next 2 weeks.
Well, actually, as they stand, if Kunman takes the lead here and Wheeler finishes 8th, he'll still have a championship lead of 1 point. But 1 point championship lead might as well be a nothing championship lead, because that's one position. All Kunman would have to do is beat Wheeler by 1 spot, but here's Caleb Morrissey trying to change this. If he dumps Wheeler down to 9th and Kunman can make the pass on Zellner, that will be a tie in the championship standings, which is always very exciting, but for the moment, it is still advantage Wheeler by the slimmest of margins. And he just basically lets Caleb Morrissey by. I don't think Wheeler's interested in fighting anymore after getting in trouble earlier with Chance Duckworth. He just lets Caleb Morrissey by nice and easy up into 8th. And Snyder and Hook still going at it. Look at Snyder on the high side. That is a decent run, but it's not decent enough. He's not going to be able to pull alongside Hook down the front straight. And they're going to continue to run single file, as is the rest of the field.
Yeah. As we say that, though, here comes Tyler Snyder again on Trevor Hook. P6.
Yeah, I don't know how he got good enough of an exit there to get to the inside of Hook, but he pulled it off somehow. And he's clear into 3 and 4 as they cross the line, but now Hook's going to cross it over. They've just been switching back and forth here. Hook gets down to the bottom. Snyder runs 5 lanes up. And it's the same thing we saw a couple laps ago. They're probably going to keep on doing this as they switch back and forth, but it's a good exit from Snyder. He's actually clear of Hook by just a little bit on the high side. He might leave him in the dust here. The bottom should be where Hook wants to be, but he can't make it work, and Snyder hangs on.
Adam Bossy has disconnected. He has parked the car for the night. 11 laps down, so it happened a while ago, but Bossy is done. Chance Duckworth is still on pit road trying to work on the car. Here's a battle between Poteet and Wheeler for P9.
Wheeler gets dumped down to P10 now with Kunman in 2nd. Kunman doesn't even have to win this thing to tie up the championship, and if Wheeler loses this spot to Cody Robinson, it'll be -1 points to Scott Wheeler. It'll be Kunman in the lead with 2 races to go. There's still plenty of laps to go before we can start doing all the real math. And just on the topic of Adam Bossy, I tried to look back and see what happened, and I got no answers. He just got randomly disconnected in the middle of the track, and then he tried to reconnect, and then he disconnected again. So I don't know what's going on with Adam Bossy. Maybe internet issues, maybe hardware issues, but whatever's going on, it's unfortunate for him. He had a solid race going in the top 10, but he is the next of our 5 casualties, which means there's only 13 cars left on track.
Right.
Lap traffic coming up for Scott Zellner. Andrew Siegel in the number 5. Siegel got into a little bit of trouble. I think he hit the inside wall a little bit earlier, so that car is going to be slow. And in addition, Siegel hasn't quite had the pace here at Dover, qualified around the back, but we'll see. Can Zellner get by him easily enough, or can Andrew Siegel be a good friend to Alan Kunman and maybe even James Mckee and slow our leader down just a little bit to throw him off his game, and maybe we'll have a battle for the lead again.
Gonna try everything he can as we're getting down toward the end of this thing.
Now he's closing. He's going to get to the bumper of him here. Now this is critical. Does Siegel get out of the way, let him by?
Of course not.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the worst thing he could have done. He couldn't really get any more out of the way than that. He went up to the high line, gets out of Zellner's way. Now does he get out of Kunman's way? It's just a question of timing. Siegel kind of defensive line there, but he does get out of the way eventually. And now can James Mckee get around him on exit? It's very slow on exit, that car of Andrew Siegel, which is unfortunate if you're closing up on him on exit, but he does let the 3 leaders by on entry. lapping Andrew Siegel with no trouble whatsoever. Not great for the entertainment of the race, great for the happiness of the drivers.
Battle for fourth. Kendall Kerr, Patrick Green. Here they are. And they're going to see that lap car, the highlighter car of Andrew Siegel, here shortly.
Difference in pace between these guys and the lapped Siegel, about half a second. So they should be catching up to him in the near future, but shouldn't be any drama. Siegel's been decent at getting out of the way here, at least with those 3 leaders. And while Siegel didn't really have anything to do with it, the 3 of them have closed up just the teensiest bit. It's now only 0.7 between Zellner and Kunman, which is a little bit less than it was before. And it's only 0.5 between Kunman and Mckee, so they're closing up just a little bit. This could be a sign that Kunman maybe has some stuff left in the tank. Maybe it's a sign that Mckee has some stuff left in the tank, but someone who clearly has a lot of energy left and a lot of tire left under that car because he's going all over the place. Patrick Green, that's a great exit out of turn 4, but he's not close enough to Kerr to send it down the inside.
And this is the closest battle on the racetrack by a good margin. This battle here for fourth. As Patrick Green's trying to do everything he can. Remember, Patrick Green almost won the first race of the season back at Las Vegas between him and Justin Malarkey, who I just realized is not here. He was third in points, by the way, coming into tonight.
So you're telling me that the race in Delaware has no Malarkey?
Which is weird, considering the man that uses Malarkey the most, Joe Biden, is from. Well, not from, but represented Delaware for a long time.
And I've just received word from Adam Bossy. Unfortunately, I thought he just got randomly disconnected, but one way or another, I didn't see what happened to him, but apparently he says Trevor Hook used him as a break, and it killed his night, and he got DQ'd from a meatball. So that's unfortunate for Adam Bossy. We didn't see it happen, but apparently it did, and he's one of the casualties, as we said.
Yeah, and he was battling with Hook before he fell back. I think that contact came before, like a long time before, and it just did enough to give him the meatball flag, even though it may not have really hurt him all that much. Let's take a look at what's upcoming here on STN. Tomorrow night are the duels at Daytona, the 4th annual Silver Fox duels for the Core presented by Traction. Then Thursday on the Core YouTube and on the Core Twitch. Round 1 of the Core Season 4 presented by Traction. It's the Daytona 250 presented by Traction. What a surprise, I know. 9 o'clock Eastern Time. For that, and also the duels tomorrow. I have no idea who in the world is streaming the duels tomorrow, but it's going to be somebody. Then we are back a week from tonight with more Highline Racing League action from a track to be determined. 10 o'clock next Tuesday. And then the PCA. There's some sort of pronunciation in here, so I'm supposed to understand what this is. Let me find it. Here we go. The PCA Upper Canadian Region Sim Racing presented by JRP. They are at Mid-Ohio the Sunday after Thanksgiving, November 28th, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. You can find all that and more here on STN, soon to be FTF.GG. James Mckee hit a button. First I thought he said he was pitting in, but I checked and it says pitting out, and he did not pit. So, whoopsies.
Gotta amuse yourself one way or another, because there's not much in terms of action going on track right now. Closest battles are still with Green and Kerr and Hook and Morrissey, but both of them are to the tune of 0.4 of a second, which this place is not really very close. So we're just kind of waiting for that next stage of green flag pit stops. If there will be another green flag pit stop before the end of this race, will somebody come in? Will somebody make something exciting? That's what we can hope for. They've done 50 laps already on these tires and on these tanks of fuel. Can they go 92 laps in a single tank of fuel at Dover? Oh, Kendall Kerr in the wall. Kendall Kerr might not have to worry about going 92 laps on a tank of fuel because he just slapped the outside wall. There's going to be damage on that car, and that's going to make Patrick Green very happy. Will Kerr be affected in a straight line here? The straight lines at Dover aren't very long, but they still exist. And Green's going to know that Kerr made that mistake. He's going to get in his head a little bit and hope that he makes another one. Because right now, even with that damage, Green is still stuck behind him.
Yeah, can't quite get by him. 40 laps to go here from Dover. Again, closest battle on the racetrack. You're looking at it. Meanwhile, Scott Wheeler Jr. just passed Dylan Poteet, but we're going to stick with these guys because Patrick Green is looking to the inside.
He is finally going to get to the inside of Kendall Kerr. Kerr's got to be careful. Don't drive into the outside wall again. Both of them stay out of each other and the wall, and Green is going to streak away here. And now Kerr got to start looking in the rear view mirror because Tyler Snyder's going to be coming up here. If Kerr is truly damaged from that wall slap, he's going to be falling back even further. And Tyler Snyder will want that top five. Oh dear. Alan Kunman's in. So there's our green flag pit stops.
Yeah, so they cannot make it to the end. So Alan Kunman, the first one to bite, to come onto pit road. When will we see everybody else? Cody Robinson is on pit road. He's one of the slower cars who has not been a factor. James Mckee is coming to pit road.
But Cody Robinson was on the lead lap, so this could be an interesting strategy. If a couple of the others stay out for much longer, he could pull maybe a little bit of an undercut here, jump into the top 10 as Wheeler. Oh, there was wall there. There was wall there.
Yeah, that's Hook as well that was fighting for that spot. Race leader Scott Zellner onto pit road.
Yeah, any hope for an undercut for some of these strategists is
Tyler
not
Snyder almost hits the wall. He makes it to pit road speed. Barely. He almost Matt Kenseth it.
Patrick Green is staying out for an extended stint. Kendall Kerr's staying out. Caleb Morrissey's staying out. So I think what they're doing is they're hoping for a caution. They're going for as long as humanly possible. And if they do get a caution with all these merges, with all these rejoins, that'll be great for them three. They'll likely rejoin a lap ahead of everybody. Are they a lap ahead of everybody? Yes, they are. McKee's a lap down. Kunman's a lap down. Everybody who's pitted is a lap down.
That's Siegel getting in the way. You know, everybody else staying on the racetrack for the time being. Patrick Green staying out for another lap, as will Kendall Kerr. Caleb Morrissey bringing it around through 3 and 4. He's going to stay out another lap. So will Scott Wheeler.
Zellner lost the lead to Kunman on the pit exit.
Yep. Zellner just came off pit road. Kunman was at full song and blew right by him like he was standing still. Alan Kunman potentially will be your race leader here. I would think that would stand. It depends on when everybody comes onto pit road. Right now, it looks like everybody that's staying out could maybe be trying to make. I mean, it's impossible for him to make it the rest of the way, but they're staying out an awfully long time. If I'm the leader, I would have been to pit road by now.
Kunman spent 47 seconds in pit lane. Scott Zellner spent 46 seconds in pit lane. So while Zellner had a faster pit stop, Kunman came in 3 laps earlier, and clearly the undercut was strong enough that Kunman is just absolutely just jumped Zellner completely to the tune of a full second. So that second Zellner gained was doubled by Kunman's undercut, and Kunman is absolutely miles ahead now.
$32 laps to go. Whoa, you saw Zellner there get sideways as everybody else continues to stay out for another lap. Patrick Green will hit 30 laps to go at start finish. As, yeah, we're just watching and waiting and waiting and watching at this point for the leaders to come to pit road. They will stay out for yet another lap.
I don't think there's any way they can make it the entire rest of the race because I don't think that these guys know something that Kunman and Mckee and the rest don't know. But they're just hoping that that unfortunate caution comes soon. It doesn't look like it will. Closest battle on track is Caleb Morrissey and the 2-lap down Cody Robinson. So unless Cody does something really stupid here on these new tires, Morrissey's going to let him by easily here, so that's not going to be anything to worry about. Here comes Scott Wheeler Jr. This is for position. Wheeler's still out there. He's trying to get something done here for some championship points. That's why he's on this alternate strategy. Can he get by Caleb Morrissey here for position? They're both going to have to pit either way. Here comes Kunman to unlap himself. Very close to the side of Scott Wheeler Jr. down the back straight. Now can he unlap himself from Caleb Morrissey?
We almost hit Morrissey. Whoa, that was close. And here comes Zellner. This is the battle for the eventual lead between the 8 and the 4. Morrissey just in the way. Now he realizes what's going on and gets out of the way. But Scott Zellner has caught Alan Kunman here. James Mckee is closing in on these guys as well. So while everybody else stays out, these two are having a whale of a battle for the eventual lead. Siegel on pit road.
Huge wiggle from Kunman and Zellner. The exit for the ages gets down to the inside, but can he clear him? He's got the bottom, he's got the fresh tires, but Kunman is not going to give that up easily, but he can't do anything on the outside this early, and he's going to have to get back in line.
Scott Zellner takes over the provisional race lead, but Kunman looking to cross him over up off the corner. Zellner bobbles a little bit, but keeps the foot down, and he will take the provisional lead, but now he has to wait for Patrick Green and Kendall Kerr to come to pit road. We're coming to 25 laps to go. There's a lot of traffic in front of Patrick Green, as here comes Wedgwood. He's coming to pit road. The leader's going to stay out for another lap, but they are catching these guys in a hurry. Cody Robinson, who's a lapper, right in front of him. He hits the wall. That'll allow the leaders to get by. Next one in the crosshairs here for Scott Zellner is Kendall Kerr in the 21.
And race leader Patrick Green. These two guys, they have no reason to let these two of Zellner and Kunman by. They're racing for the lead. Zellner and Kunman are the lappers, so while they might be getting in the way, they don't have to get out of the way, but that was tight.
Got one on pit road. It's Dylan Poteet. He finally bites. Meanwhile, here comes Mckee. Look out. He's going to try and go around the outside. That won't work. He cuts down low to get by Kerr. Robinson now needs to get out of his way and does. So James Mckee is driving like a bat out of hell right now, trying to catch these leaders. Now he's got to try and get around Patrick Green. Does so there. So these guys are now back on the lead lap, but they are not the race leader. Patrick Green is still the race leader with 23 laps to go.
Exiting the pits right in front of these two guys, Dylan Wedgwood on those cold tires, so they got to be careful. Is he going to get out of the way? Yes, he is. He's going to be very nice to go up to the high line, but that's not very nice for Kunman, who's going to get his exit taken away, all of his room taken away. Zellner's going to pull ahead by just a little bit, but Kunman is there. There's still 22 laps to go, so he's still got quite a few laps to save up his stuff. So I don't think he's going to be going for the lead the first chance he gets, but Zellner's got to be worried here because Kunman is there, and he will probably not leave being there. Oh, but he sure tried that time. He's been getting loose out of 4 quite a bit these past few laps. He had the advantage on Zellner a couple laps ago, but he had that same bobble, and he got super loose out of 4. And look at him. He's lost almost a full half second to Zellner.
Coming to 20 laps to go. Patrick Green is pulled away now by 0.8 of a second over Kendall Kerr for the race lead. They are still staying out. Scott Zellner with him getting by these guys. He is now P5. P5 and on the lead lap for Zellner. Kunman losing time. Here comes Hook. He's P4. He's going to bring it to pit road and almost eat the barrels.
Now
Caleb
this is
Morrissey
really
going to stay out.
This is really interesting because Dylan Wedgwood is a lap behind Kunman and Zellner, but Wedgwood has fresh tires, and that's why Kunman lets Wedgwood by there. 17 lap fresher tires. So what Kunman's going to have to hope here is that when Wedgwood catches Zellner, they hold each other up a little bit. They screw each other up a little bit, slow each other down a little bit, and maybe that'll be the way Kunman reels Zellner back in. But as for the moment, it's 1.1 seconds between them, and Kunman's got to look in his rearview mirror because James Mckee is right there.
Time keeps ticking away. 18 laps to go. Here's the battle for what could eventually be second place. It's now P5 with Mckee and Kunman side by side.
side by side for about a millisecond, and Mckee just sweeps on by him. That was a pretty easy move, and it makes me wonder, is Kundman just slow, or is he still trying to save up a little bit for the end of this race? Wedgwood is going to get by Zellner in the near future. He's going to have to. And now Zellner's got to worry more about Mckee, because Mckee is very aggressive. He's very quick. He's running the same speed as Zellner, so he's not really catching him, but he does have the speed. Wedgwood showing no interest in getting aggressive here, and I can't blame him. He is a lap down, actually 2 laps down compared to these guys, so if he takes out Zellner, he's not going to be a very popular character, but he is faster. He is going to want to get by. Zellner gets very high out of the groove, and I think this is going to be the door open to Wedgwood. No. What a kind gesture by Dylan Wedgwood. He is staying out of this as best as he can. He could easily sweep by Scott Zellner here, but he is hanging back until Scott Zellner finally hands it to him on a silver platter.
I think Zellner's trying to give it to him, though, but he has a little bit of time to deal with here. He's got 1.3 seconds back to Mckee, so he has some time to spare, but I'm sure he doesn't want to waste all of it trying to let him go by. Patrick Green continues to lead the way. 14 laps to go from Dover. I think at this point, they're just stretching it the rest of the way until they run it out of fuel.
But my question is, when will they run out of fuel? Because there's no way that they could go 92 laps on a tank of fuel. That Patrick Green and Kendall Kerr could do that. Nobody else could. And even if they can, the speed that Zellner and Mckee and Kundman are going is 2 seconds a lap faster. So they're going to catch them in 6 laps either way. Green and Kerr. Oh, Siegels, that's a caution.
Siegel, caution. I think he got help from Morrissey, perhaps. And we are under caution with 13 to go. And yes, sir, Caleb Morrissey, punt, pass, and kick to the back bumper of the 5 off turn 2.
And I was just about to say that Green and Kerr, their only hope is a caution coming out and everybody coming in with them. And that's what just happened, so here's Siegel and Morrissey. Siegel's been very much off the pace, and that's 100% on Morrissey. He just got impatient and bonked him out of the way.
Well,
now does everybody come in? They have to. There's only 6 cars on the lead lap. Everybody's got to come in.
I've seen this movie before. It was last night. Patrick Green comes in. Kendall Kirk comes in. Zellner, Mckee, do you dare take 2 tires?
I mean, there's only...
Like we saw last night in Four Corner Racing League. I know you weren't here, Joey, but do you go for 2 tires? We got trouble on front straightaway. Tyler Snyder just packed the back end of Trevor Hook down the front straightaway. Snyder wasn't paying attention, got on the brakes too late, and absolutely drove underneath the back of the 84, lifted the entire rear of the car up off the ground.
I was watching Alan Kundman in the pits, and I saw that in the periphery, and I couldn't believe that was happening until it actually happened. So that is very unfortunate. Tyler Snyder's going to have some explaining to do. Hopefully he wasn't on his phone.
He's the race leader. Tyler Snyder is the race leader. He did not pit. Everybody else pitted and got 4 tires. Tyler Snyder pitted earlier on in this run. He can make it to the end. He pitted 25 laps ago. He stays out, hits a lap car. He now has damage. Here's the replay from downtown. Wham! I mean, what? He is your race leader. That is your race leader, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, if he was staying out, he was staying out. So his strategy the whole time was to stay out here on 25 lap older tires than everybody else. But it's after the watershed. But I still can't say the word I want to use for what he just did to his own strategy. But he is going to bring it down pit road now. It was not going to work out whether he had damage or not. But that just added insult to injury.
Boo! I wanted the carnage. Come on.
You want to see someone flip like Joey Logano?
Tyler Snyder, where are the balls, man? Come on. I know we're making fun of you for running into somebody under caution. That's Stephen Wallace stuff, but come on. So Patrick Green will be the race leader, and arguably the best car in the night. Scott Zellner, James Mckee, and Alan Kunman. Those three have dominated tonight. They're going to be 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
I'm feeling shades of Milwaukee a couple weeks ago in terms of a dramatic late race restart with people getting aggressive. They're all going to be trying to get to the bottom in turn 1, and at Milwaukee, we saw them meet in the middle on that first restart, and we wrecked about 7 cars. But if we wreck 7 lead cars, we're going to have nobody left on the lead lap. So hopefully they can keep out of each other. They can be nice to each other. I know sometimes we want to see the carnage. We've got about 500 billion fans at Dover, which is extremely unrealistic, and they probably want to see some crashes, but we also want to see a good race to the end. Lapped cars getting waved around the pace car. That's going to be Morrissey, Wheeler, and a couple others that I should have looked more carefully at, but a couple drivers getting their lap back. They'll be on the lead lap, and they'll be joining us. But none of them have fresh tires, so they're probably going to stay where they are unless we get another caution here.
Yeah.
It's not quite a green-white checker, but it's a green and then a couple laps and then a white checker.
Yeah, we're going to have 8 to go on the restart. If it's anything like last night, we're not going to make it very far. And we might even see somebody like Alan Kunman go into the corner and die. We'll find out, though. 13 cars on the racetrack. 8 of them are on the lead lap. Scott Wheeler Jr. is stuck a lap down in P10. He is not the first car lap down. That belongs to the guy that brought out the caution, Caleb Morrissey. They bring her through 3 and 4. Patrick Green's not wasting any time. Green flag. He is gone. He caught everybody sleeping.
Now it's the chasing game from Zellner. He gets down to the inside of Kendall Kerr. Through 1 and 2. Kerr's going to squeeze him down to the bottom. He doesn't want to give up second, but he's going to have to here. That high line on these restarts is not the place to be. Kerr makes contact with him. Mckee makes contact with him, rather, down the back straight.
He's going to turn him.
There we go.
There goes Kerr into the wall. Caution flag is out. Oh, and Wedgwood clobbers Kerr. Parked up against the outside wall. And we are back under caution. Well, that's not what Kendall Kerr was looking for tonight.
But I could see that coming the second they made contact down the back straight. I'd like to see a replay, see if we can point fault at anybody. I don't think we can point a finger at anybody. It was just hard racing down the back straight. Mckee in the bright white car down to the bottom. Kendall Kerr on the outside on exit. They left each other plenty of room, and then they just kind of met in the middle there. And then through the middle of the corner, Kerr tries to sweep it around the outside. Mckee slides up, and Kerr is the unfortunate victim, and Dylan Wedgwood just full throttles him.
Yeah, Wedgwood didn't really have anywhere to go. He was already turning left as hard as he could. Just couldn't avoid him. Yeah, I think that's more a racing deal. They kind of met in the middle there. The 9 went up, the 21 came down.
Well, from that back straight, Cam, it looked a little bit more egregious on McKee's part. I saw him moving quite a bit more, so it was a double hit from Mckee. I'd point the blame. Oh, and you can see the smoke. Dylan Wedgwood couldn't even see where Kerr's car was, and he broke through the smoke and kablamo. But he's Mckee. There's Mckee just, yeah, he kind of drove up into him, and then to make matters worse, he mistimed it and punted Kerr around. So it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, and then Mckee got damage as well. I didn't see that originally, but Mckee lost it out of 4, so he self-flagellated a little bit. He punished himself.
Yeah, and that's a lot of damage to the left side of the race car. We'll see how that affects him. Here for what could be the last restart. We're going to have this last restart inside 5 laps to go.
So Zellner's going to be restarting on the outside here. Well, depending if Patrick Green takes the outside, he'll be starting on the inside, but I don't think he would do that. But Zellner is going to be much closer to the race lead. Kunman is going to be much closer to Zellner. They've got to learn from that last restart, and and they got to pack each other up a little bit closer together. If Kunman can get a better restart and maybe take advantage of James Mckee slowing some folks down by trying to make some moves with a damaged car, I'm feeling good about Patrick Green here, because I think those three behind are going to be too busy fighting each other. And if Patrick Green can get a good restart here, he'll be streaking off into the distance.
How about a restart with 3 to go? That's what we're looking at here to wrap this night up from Dover, since the lights are still on in the pace car. So Caleb Morrissey got the free pass, and we'll be back on the lead lap. Shout out to the bot spamming crap in the YouTube chat. Appreciate it.
I mean, we only went like 2 laps green there, so I don't think there will be much tire fall off, but Caleb Morrissey and Kendall Kerr with damage and Cody Robinson with no damage have the fresh tires in the field now. It's going to do nothing for them, but it's a nice statistic for them to hold on to. They can get a little bit of hope in their heads. So they might have a little bit more under them for the race finish here, but something tells me Cody Robinson won't be passing 6 cars to win this thing. And saying that, he probably will.
Yep. Field is basically doubled up. Now the lights are out on the pace car, so we will indeed have 3 laps to settle it here from Dover. I guess maybe that's why we went 133, because they knew we were going to get this caution late, so we wouldn't use an overtime on this. My
Who
story,
knows?
and I'm sticking to it.
But I would not be surprised if we do get a green-white checkered here, because everything is in place for that to happen.
Yeah. I mean, they got to make it 2 laps in order for this race to finish. So here we go. Pace car comes onto pit road. Patrick Green, we'll see what games he plays here on the restart. He is slowing everybody up. Now he's going, and everybody's ready for it. Green flag, 3 laps to go. A great restart from James Mckee. Even with the damage, he's going to go side by side with Zellner to turn 1 for P2.
Mckee and Zellner far more Delaware of Patrick Green's strategy on the restart there, and it's a terrible exit from Green. He's got blocked all the way down to the bottom.
He's going to get turned. There he goes. Patrick Green around. He's going to almost collect Kunman, and we're going to overtime at Dover.
Like I said, you could see it coming. Tempers were flaring, and the guys who were leading the race this whole time wanted to get back up there, and Patrick Green, unfortunately, the new kid on the block, just gets shoved out of the way by James Mckee. There's nothing Patrick Green could have done there. He just was a little bit too slow in the middle of the corner, and he got shoved.
Is flying back up to the pack. I thought he was going to go deliver a message. But he's not happy with Mckee. That's the second person that Mckee has run over tonight. Here's the replay.
Yeah, Green got a terrible exit, and he blocked all the way down to the bottom, and I think Mckee just didn't like that very much, because he just drove through him.
Patrick Green not happy over the radio. And there was a little bit of contact between Kunman and the 87 once he was around. And yeah, no doubt about it. Absolutely contact. And Scott Zellner slides through to take the lead. Mckee will be second here on the restart. Patrick Green will not pit, even after lighting the tires up from spinning. He's going to stay out on the racetrack here. And if he gets back up there, oh boy. We got beef.
If I was Patrick Green, I would pit here, because you're still on the lead lap. You're not going to lose your lap, and you'll restart 9th either way, so why not put a little teensy bit fresher tires on that car and fix some of the damage, and maybe you'll have a better chance of getting back up there and getting your revenge.
Well, he'll be 10th. Scott Wheeler just got the free pass. So he was the last one a lap down, or one singular lap down, that is. So he is back on the lead lap. Dylan Wedgwood is in 11th. He is 2 laps down. So if we get another caution, he would get 1 lap. He would not get both laps back because we only have 2 attempts at a green-white checker, and this is the first one. So we only get 1 more restart out of tonight.
Now the focus shifts to Scott Zellner, who has clearly been the fastest car all night, and he's in the lead. So the question on the drivers' minds behind him is, how do you beat him? He's got short run speed, he's got long run speed. Do you James Mckee punt him out of the way, move him out of the way? Or can you find a way by him? Can you force him into a mistake, send it down to the bottom, and hopefully stick it down there? I don't know. I really don't know what the strategy is going to be here. And I think this might be the first time Scott Zellner's actually led a restart. He's been in the lead for the majority of the race, but he's been the one making moves. I don't think he's led a restart this whole time.
Alrighty. So we'll get a restart here sooner or later to potentially finish this race. Remember, they have to complete 1 lap. That's twice now that we've only made it half a lap before things have gone hectic. And special thanks to Timing and Scoring for still not understanding green-white checkers. I appreciate it.
Dylan Poteet is a name I don't think we've mentioned in this battle. He's been in and around the precipices of the top 10, but he's up into 4th. If stuff goes wrong up front, he could very well be a stealer. He could steal this win, or at least a podium, but he's up there in 4th. Tyler Snyder's up there in 5th. Cody Robinson up to 6th. There's a couple underdogs and a couple dark horses that, if things go wrong up front, they could pick up the pieces here, and be a very good day for some drivers who we don't normally see up here.
Lights are out on the pace car. We'll get the restart this time by. So here we go. Restart 1 of 2. Scott Zellner will be on the inside. James Mckee, who basically has a snowplow on the front of his race car. He starts from the outside row, 2nd position on the racetrack. Kunman down low, Poteet up high. Zellner gone, green flag.
Now can James Mckee get back to him? It's not over yet. James Mckee has some decent mid-corner speed, but he gets out of the groove. Now, can he do anything down the back straight? It's a great exit from Mckee, and it's a great exit from Kunman as well. I think we're going to get the white flag here, but McKee's going to have like 1 shot at it.
Through 3 and 4, you got to remember the damage that the 9 has. Off the corner, white flag, we made it. Next flag ends the race. Scott Zellner looking to go back to back. He won last week at Indianapolis, trying to come away with the win. James Mckee gonna wheel it up off turn number 2 for the final time. Does he have anything for the back bumper of the number 4? Sends it into turn number 3, washes it up the racetrack. Here comes Kunman. Kunman gets underneath him, and Scott Zellner will go back to back and win it over. Mckee takes 2nd, Kunman 3rd, Poteet will finish in 4th, and Tyler Snyder has a great night and finishes in the top 5. Scott Wheeler Jr., 9th, crash, back straightaway. That was Mckee that got driven through. Patrick Green has gone around. Scott Wheeler Jr. just drove through him, and it was Patrick Green that upended James Mckee on the back straightaway.
And just a championship update here. Scott Wheeler Jr. finished 9th. Kunman finished 3rd. By my calculations, that's a 6-point difference. It'll be 3 points between the top two now, but who cares about that right now? We only care about Scott Zellner. That's 2 wins in a row. He's going to be the third driver who's won 2 races this season, and I haven't calculated it out. I think he's missed too many races, but he's clearly got a lot of pace, and if he missed a few less races, I think Scott Zellner would be the third member of that trio.
Yeah, when we talked to him last week, he said that he felt he missed too many races to be a factor in the championship, but back-to-back wins certainly helped for the driver of the 4. We'll talk to him in a little bit. Let's get through our results. Here tonight from Dover, Scott Zellner, your race winner. James Mckee finishes in second. Alan Kunman finishes in third. Dylan Poteet in fourth. Tyler Snyder fifth. And Caleb Morrissey sixth. Patrick Green in seventh. Kendall Kerr eighth. Championship leader Scott Wheeler Jr. Not a great race for him. He finishes ninth. Cody Robinson finishes 10th.
Dylan Wedgwood somehow finished 11th. I feel like he was couple laps down all day, and he got a big bite out of one of the accidents. Andrew Siegel somehow on the same lap as him as well, both of them surviving in the top 12. Then the rest of the cars were the used car lot. Trevor Hook got destroyed under caution. Adam Bossy, Chance Duckworth, Brad Kress, Jeff Morash, and Scott McCarris. It was only an 18-car field tonight, and we got 10 of them finishing on the lead lap.
Let's talk to some folks. Maybe somebody, anybody. I see Mckee in the Discord server at least, so we can at least pull him up.
Kunman's around, Zellner's around. We'll get him eventually. Well, Jake, while we wait, I have a question for you. I've been waiting to ask this. What tracks do you want for the final 2 races of the season?
I really want the last race to be at Talladega, I'm not gonna lie.
Didn't we already do Talladega? No, we did Daytona.
No, we did Daytona. I'm trying to remember what we have and haven't done this year.
I'm personally, I'm hoping for Watkins Glen next round just to get a road course in, and then the final race, who knows? Who cares?
Well, we talked about that last week, that the drivers wanted Watkins Glen for this week. They didn't get it, clearly. Let's talk to our race winner, Scott Zellner. Back-to-back wins. Same stuff, different week. Great night for you nonetheless. Had one of the fastest cars, really, from the get-go.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This was definitely a track I had circled on the calendar, and I'm glad I was able to pull through when it mattered most.
A lot of contact there towards the end of this deal. The caution certainly helped there with about, it was inside 20 to go, bunched everybody back up. There was the contact that, got Kendall Kerr out of the way, got Patrick Green out of the way. That allowed you to get out in front, and then really, were you worried about James Mckee taking you out as well, getting into the back of you and moving you out of the way, or did you think that last restart, you got it?
That last restart, I felt like I had it. I know Jimmy doesn't usually race like that, so I'm sure it was just him going for the win real hard there at the end. But I knew once I got clear on that restart that we were going to be good to go. I knew I was going to be able to catch Kendall when that first yellow flag came out. I don't know if I would have caught Patrick, but it's kind of a shame that you get back markers that cause cautions at the end of the races.
2 weeks left on the schedule. I know we talked about last week that we wanted to see Watkins Glen this week. That didn't happen. So, where do you want to go next week?
Honestly, I'll take Watkins Glen again, or honestly, I'm looking forward to Texas. But like I said, Dover is probably my best track on iRacing, so I'm really glad that we got to come here this season, and kind of showed why I had it circled on the calendar.
Well, congratulations on the win, going back-to-back, and we'll see you next week at wherever the wheel decides our fate. Congratulations once again.
Hey, thanks, guys. I want to give a shout out to my Four Horsemen Racing teammates, Caleb Morrissey and Scott Wheeler Jr. Toby Wedgwood couldn't make it again tonight, but thanks for you guys putting on the broadcast. Shout out to my family watching. I know I got got reprimanded for not saying their names in victory lane last week. So shout out to my family that's watching.
Congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week. Scott Zellner, your race winner tonight from Dover. And the interview room is filled with nothing but crickets. So, yeah, let's wrap. Joey, final thoughts here from Dover.
Well, it seems like these past couple of weeks we've seen the track draw and we've been somewhat disappointed, and they've put on a good show anyway. So I think that, just as I'm going to shut up now because it looks like Alan Kundman and James Mckee just showed up. Do we want to take them? James Mckee, second place finisher. Welcome to the booth. It was a somewhat controversial second place. You got into Patrick Green at the end there. How was that from your side?
Well, from my view, he got loose coming off of 2 on that restart, and I had a huge run. And as he got loose, it looked like he just came down, blocked the whole straightaway. I looked at the replay, and I was off the throttle and on the brakes. And when I got into him, I was still somewhat on the brakes. So I don't know. I know he's not happy. I know no sorry is going to fix anything because he could have won, and I took it away from him. So I don't know. Not real thrilled.
Well, I can't blame you, but at the end there, it looked like you did have some damage from that contact. Did you think you still had a shot at the win, or was that damage hurting you a little bit too much in those final couple laps?
Honestly, the car felt fine. I thought when Kendall and I got into it and I slammed the inside pit wall on the straightaway, I thought I was done for, but on that next restart, it took off well. And like I said, I got that good run on Patrick on the backstretch, and then of course chaos happened after that.
Well, as usual, it's the wheel in the sky that determines these tracks. How did you feel about Dover coming in today, and next week? Where do you hope we go next?
I don't know. I love Dover. The last time we ran Premier Race here, I got a W, but wasn't meant to be tonight. Still hoping for Watkins Glen to show up. I would love to get a road course before the season's out, or maybe even another short track.
Well, that's the popular sentiment. It seems like literally everybody wants Watkins Glen. So let me turn myself up a little bit to let the admins hear. Give us Watkins Glen, please. Thank you.
I appreciate that. That'd be great. That's one of my favorite tracks, so I would love to see that before our season's over.
Well, that was James Mckee, your second place finisher tonight. We'll see him back next week. We'll see everybody back next week. We did get one extra interview in. Good on Mckee for finally showing up. But Jake, I think that'll be our final wrap here.
Oh, no, we have Kundman, so let's talk.
We do have Kundman
here as well. Great points night nonetheless. Not quite in the championship lead, but a not good night for Scott Wheeler Jr. You were able to tighten that points gap up a lot. Things looking pretty good heading in these last 2 races for you.
Yeah, that's what I was keeping an eye on all night, was just where Wheeler was and where I was running, really just points racing tonight. So I'm glad we could, gain some points on them and tighten it up a little bit.
Looking ahead to the mystery next 2 weeks, what tracks do you think would play best into your hands to try and win the championship?
Short tracks. Kendall says we're going to run at least one more short track. I don't know if this was considered the one more short track or not. I guess we'll have to see, but that's what I'm always pulling for. I don't know. Just always been so good at those, and run. I don't know. It's a toss up when it comes to mile and a halves.
Well, nonetheless, congratulations on the podium. We'll see you next week wherever we wind up, and best of luck in trying to win a championship.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Alan Kundman, your third place finisher tonight here from Dover. That's our broadcast for tonight. Coming up on STN Core, the Daytona 250 presented by Traction, Thursday night on Veterans Day, but it's at night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. A week from tonight, we're back with more of the Highline Racing League HighPoint.com Premier Series from a track to be determined, and then the PCA Upper Canadian Region Sim Racing presented by JRP from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, That is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, November 28th, a 9 o'clock start as well. For Zach Johnson, our producer, and Joey Tevin alongside me, I'm Jacob Pitts. Thanks for watching. Congratulations to Scott Zellner, your winner tonight. We will see you for Core on Thursday, and we're back with this in a week. Until then, good night.